Okay, so you are clear with ontological proof, right? The essence of ontological proof that we were discussing in the last class. See, one way or the other, this question is bound to repeat. Definitely. Last class, as we discussed, as I was saying, even they can create a question like if the most perfect God can exist, can we prove most perfect devil? See, any question has in come in that fashion. But any kind of so-called application question or new question means it will be rooted in the thought pattern, right? In the way that we discussed. And into this thought pattern, we will be introducing the prominent points, not simply writing the prominent points. Prominent points will be aligned with the demand of the question. Getting no? So thread of the thought is like we are deducing the existence existence of God since as a concept, as a concept, God is the most perfect being which cannot lack anything. If you even if you think like it lacks something, it's like doing injustice to the idea of God. Logically doing injustice, that's all. Just like the example of triangle. Okay, so that's the thread of the argument. Whatever ontological proof anyone is extending, basically Anselm and Descartes only, nobody else. Everything is rooted in this fundamental thought. I think you might have read it, a bit of it from the notes. And the fundamental criticism, you might not be convinced with the arguments like criticism, like they are simply deducing the existence of God from a mere idea. That criticism will be convincing only when we are going through this ontological proof for the first time. You will feel like I am having an idea or something, it seems like I am deducing it. In that criticism, like you are simply deducing the existence of God means you will be standing with the, as a learner, now you will be in a position to stand with the ones who are extending the argument. Because we are not saying each and everything can be deduced. No. Most perfect being cannot lack something. Right? That's a kind of argument. But still we write those criticisms. Whether a criticism is sound or not. If it is in the standard books, academicians will be relating with that, we will write. And the argument of perfect island, most perfect island, that also can be written. But the most prominent criticism against the ontological argument is from Immanuel Kant. That we need some clarity. He says that existence is not a predicate, property. That is clear, no? What we were discussing. This was the point where we stopped the last class. Now you can think it in linguistical aspects as well. Linguistical aspects means when you say God is omniscient, omnipotent, benevolent beings, it's a kind of possessor possessed relation. Predicate subject, subject predicate relation. Right? Predicate means that which is being possessed. Linguistically, it occupies that position. Substance means that is in the position of being possessed. S. They are just, translocating existence as a property. How will you prove the existence of a flower? At least somebody might have seen it. Okay, it can be treated. Or even if you are able to feel at least one of the unique properties of that particular flower, any one of the property, fragrance, its beauty, its color, anything, you are able to see it. Here, none of the attributes, even the ones, ones who are extending the proof for God, they themselves say that, I have an idea of these properties, that's all. Idea of that property, no? So not perceived. So ontological means, okay, I am having so and so properties. most perfect being, it cannot non-exist. Along with these properties, I will treat existence as well. No, that's a problem. Properties have the ground in an existing substance. Existence, can it have on an existing substance? Means concept of existence shall come in S. Here we are keeping it in P. Clear, na? We are just changing it. So it's a kind of fallacy. I don't know how far you will be remembering this. In linguistic philosophy, in contemporary philosophy, even if you don't remember, doesn't matter. In contemporary philosophy, the logical positivists or the neo-empiricists always they advocate or they vouch for the analytic synthetic dichotomy. They divided proportions into two. So logically, God is accepted as a necessarily existent being, na? Necessarily existent being. In ontological proof, this is the thing we are arguing. God can never non-exist. Here, existence doesn't mean like you say that for you God is there, for me God is not there. No, the ones who are extending the proof, they say that God is a concretely existing entity, just like this computer in front of us, irrespective of whether you are perceiving it or not. When Descartes was extending the proof, means it's not only for him, it's a really existing being, not a mere thought. Getting right, from a mere thought, we are reducing its actual existence, concrete existence. Or, in other words, they say that it can never non exist. 100% it can never non exist, or it means it has to necessarily exist. This is what any theist believes. Or even in this kind of proofs, they say that it's a necessarily existent being. Even if you cannot connect, no problem. Now, what I am going to say, in linguistic philosophy, logical positivism, they say necessary existence is a kind of self-contradiction, linguistically self-contradiction. Necessary. What are necessary propositions? Do you remember necessary propositions? Necessary propositions are the ones which are always 100% true. There is no any chance to falsify it. From where does this dichotomy arise? This dichotomy between two types of knowledge arise? Not Plato, but we can say from Hume's philosophy. Na? Hume's philosophy. Relation of idea, matter of fact. What was the nature? One of them deals with the concrete things, really existing things. Matter of fact. Relation of idea. Right, mathematical truth, logical truth. Just recollect the example of counting the coins. They are necessary. Abstract. Abstract are necessary. When your proportion is about some concrete thing, it need not be necessary. That is its nature. That is its nature. There are only two types of knowledge. There is no any third type. And this idea got inherited in mm, Hume. Sorry, this logical positivist. Hume, you will be remembering. Contemporary, perhaps, even if you have forgotten that, no problem. Now you will be remembering that there, AJIR differentiated two types of knowledge. They are analytic and synthetic. And within the analytic, we are keeping the necessary propositions. You will be remembering that. So necessary existence means he argues like all necessary propositions are actually, or those which are 100% true, are can be analytic only. They can be abstract only if something has to be 100% true. But when you say that, God is a kind of concretely existing entity, just like when you speak about existence of things, there is an element of contingency. Contingent means there is an element of probability associated with it. So he says, like, rooted in this dichotomy only, necessary existence is a kind of, logical fallacy because both these things cannot coexist. Both these, necessary concepts of necessity and concrete existence cannot coexist. So, see, as a learner or as a student, when you are conveying perfect island argument, Immanuel Kant's argument, this kind of necessary existence argument, that shows the diversity from the from the perspective of the checker when he seeing that. No? So, so whatever we are giving should be clear, concise, and diverse, visible. कितना आसानी से कह दिया है ना, सब कुछ लिखना भी है, सिंपली लिखना भी है, एंड देयर शैल बी विजिबिलिटी एज वेल, टाइम लिमिट के अंदर लिखना भी है, हो गया. तो उसके ऊपर काम करना है ना. Very easy to say these things. How should you write a good answer means intro should be conveying. There should be many number of dimensions. All the dimensions should be visible. There should be a very good conclusion. And whatever you are writing, it should be very clear. Write within the time limit. Manage कर लो, मेहनत कर लो, हो जाएगा. So this is the things we need actually. Okay. What the idea? Na? Are you able to relate necessary existence? And maybe we can counter. Suppose you are being asked a question in the main, simply taking from that position. The necessary existence. Logical positive is a concept of necessary existence is a logical contradiction while proving God in paper 2. In paper 1, they are not going to ask this. They are not going to ask this 100%. Paper 2, they will ask. So we will write like, okay, this is the genesis. This is how the positivists are extending the critique. Maybe we will be, initially perhaps we would have introduced the ontological proof. Because necessary existence is coming from there only. Na? They accept it, criticize it, and after that even you can bring in Immanuel Kant. They say that there is a third type of proposition, synthetic a priori judgment. But this synthetic a priori judgment is not applicable in the phenomena but in the nomina. Structuring हो गया है ना. You are being asked a question like logical positivist का critically examine the logical positivist position that the concept of necessary existence while proving God is self-contradictory. तो आंसर मैंने लिख दिया स्टार्टिंग में. Any theist will treat God as necessarily existent being. They extend different kinds of proofs. Ontological is one among them. उसका crux लिख दिया. Logical positivist criticism I elaborated. I say that there are no two types of proposition. There are third type of proposition. Immanuel Kant says, but the issue is that even with that third proposition, Immanuel Kant says that it is applicable only to phenomena. As a reader, when you see like लगेगा ना इसको कुछ पता है. See, it is easy to say a perfect answer, not say to deliver a perfect answer. I'm not saying to deliver. I am saying and then saying to deliver. ठीक है ना? दोनों में अंतर है. So it's like when you listen, okay, it's okay. Whatever is in the book or something you can see. Even if you see some of the keys that I am putting in, यार लगेगा कि वो ये तो देखा हुआ है. Every content is there. It should come on paper. Again, I am reminding this is the difference. This is the difference between learning and succeeding in competitions. Many people or any serious candidate will know there will be very, that number of, if 10 lakh people are filling the form means there won't be that much number of serious candidates. Final fight will be between, I don't know exact, but 30,000, 40,000 ऐसे ही होता है finally. Means that kind of fight, cutting edge fight जो होता है. Prelims means okay within 1 lakh, but 30, 40,000 there will be cutting edge. And even in the mains as well, for the top rank, maybe between 1,000 or 1,500, उसमें से 50, 100 means that kind of delivery, in that paper. Initial means it will grow like this. Exponential growth will be there. Learning means we will go ahead of, others who are not seriously preparing. But after that means, perfection means initially till 90% everything will go. Baki we need each and every effort. Okay. What is no? This is ontological proof. This is the most famous critic. And the other kind of proof is a posteriori. This is a priori. Even without accepting the reality of world, You are proving the existence of God by simply deducing it from the concept of most perfect being. Did we accept world? Did we observe the world? After observing the world, तो लगेगा कि everything has a cause. There shall be a first cause. No. Okay. So what I need in this topic is, earlier topic is, understand the base, understand the way Anselm has given, how Descartes is arguing, rooted in same only, these set of criticism. Actually, it is enough. Enough to deliver. Cosmological. Do you remember? Did Aristotle accept God? That you will say yes. Actus purus. Do you remember when we were discussing Aristotle? I told like this acted as a precursor, an earlier form of the God, which was accepted in Christian theology. I remember. I was just asking. Last class, I told you Saint Thomas Aquinas, somebody, Aquinas, was treated as a kind of, Aristotelian. There were two medieval Christian saints. Saint Augustine was treated as a Platonian. During those times in universities, theology, fundamental philosophy means Plato and Aristotle were being taught. Anyhow, we don't need to go into that, at least in this moment. Aquinas, I would say, he was indebted to Aristotelian thoughts. We will see how. What was the role of God in Aristotle's philosophy? Actus purus, no? How did he arrive at God? You remember? Aristotle's philosophy was a critic to Platonian philosophy. Oh, that you should remember because we are having a test. So Aristotle's philosophy was a critic to Plato. He started from this world. Matter and form is the reality. While explaining the notion of change, right? Notion of change. Change was kind of accepted always in an optimistic way, in which the later stage is better than the previous one. Later stage is more of form and less of matter. In which direction it is going? In the direction of betterment. What is the best? You have two choices: either to accept the best or say that everything keeps evolving like that. Aristotle is somehow accepting the best. The best. The best means complete actuality. Right? Complete actuality. Complete actuality means even we saw in last topic as well. If God is perfect, why should he involve in creation even? If someone is fully actualized, तो कुछ करना ही नहीं है. Really perfect means we are involving in some action with some goals. God cannot have any goal. Getting now means actualization, complete actualization. So actus purus, it is permanent. And kind of it's like there is an innate tendency in every entity in this universe to strive for the best or strive for the betterment. Direction to वही है ना. Always ideal is the direction. Practical means we are going towards the ideal irrespective of whether we are reaching it or not. Right? While studying constitution as well, you would have read like Dr. Ambedkar's comment, DPSP. Many things in the DPSP were not kept as rights then. They serve as lighthouses. उस तरफ जाना है, पहुंचना नहीं है, जाना है. Everywhere we can see, even you can get an essay. Ideal means perfect. There was an essay 2, 3 years back. Uh, Roughly, it's like better is or practical is better than the ideal, something like that. There are better practices to best practices. Yes, there are better practices to best practices. So roughly one angle of interpretation, best say acha better hai. Best we cannot achieve. Better means it's like being pragmatic, grounded and all. Anyhow, coming back, no need for deviation. So actus purus is the ideal thing. One way or the other, any change, is to strive to be better. And in theology, Christian theology, at least definitely in medieval period, it's believed that to be human is to strive to be God. Look, what was the basic principle of creation? Whether it may be not in creation, God-human relation, whether it is Madhvacharya, and definitely in Christianity. Human beings are a kind of miniature version of God. इतना तो हम बोल सकते हैं miniature, not exactly miniature. God created human out of His own image. You don't need to read that, but this much you can remember. Even in Sartre, we discussed. Sartre, when he was rejecting the possibility of theistic existentialism, Sartre was saying that God created human out of his image means his essence has been fixed. Na? Essence. God, the target of human is like to, follow God. Here and there we will see that God, Madhvacharya, Aham Brahmasmi, kind of interpretation is like always inferior, always different. But whatever is in the finite quantity, infinite bliss, the same thing you can have in a finite version. So you see, things in the entity have got, an innate tendency to be the best, move in the direction of the best. When it translates into theology, the best is the God, omniscient, omnipotent, benevolent. Human beings in the world are bound to emulate the way of God, the life of God. When God takes incarnation, avatara, when he leads a life on this earth, human beings can try to emulate it. The best को emulate करेंगे. And again, you see why the change is taking place in the world. कुछ तो है ना. Why means there is some reason to be better. So in Aristotle, the actus purus is known as the unmoved mover. Unmoved mover. Everything in this world is in motion. Everything is in motion. Everything is in a state of change. Somebody shall initiate this change. Somebody shall switch on the button. Everything is in motion. There is an unmoved mover who starts this, just like a machine. And you see, everything has a cause. Generally, you observe the world. See, you need to understand that earlier we deduced the existence from the concept. That is the nature of ontological. And going to the core of it. Here means first we are observing the world. You see the nature of things in the world. Everything is in a state of motion, movement. Everything is having every event is having a kind of antecedent cause. We study in that fashion, no? We learn in that fashion. You observe something. What is the cause of this? There shall be an antecedent cause. And that's true. We can get the causes. Anything we can get a causes. If a leaf is falling from the tree, can get the cause like it is due to wind. And again, why wind? What is the cause of the wind? You can get something, temperature difference. Why the temperature difference? Some reason, altitude, latitude, tilt of the earth, anything. So any event, any entity in the world, if it is even when you think about the example of the flame, what is the cause of flame? We can say that there is cotton, there is oxygen, there is absence of wind. यानी तो किसी ने जलाया उसको, so definitely there are many number of causes. So any event is, together there are some antecedent causes for everything. Observe the nature. Can you see anything existing independently in the world? See, just think about Pratya Samutpada. See, cause effect relation. I would say if you are thinking, is Praditya Samutpada is a kind of cause effect relation? You are not going to get a question on that. See, cause relation between cause and effect. It's a simply what it's a temporal thing. Event means temporal, time frame. Something is there, something precedes it. It can be Pratyasamutpada, there is nothing wrong. क्योंकि उनके साथ तो they are an extension, we are having the temporality, na? Impermanence, Kshanikvada. Just saying, along with that, when you say that at times temporality means something, something is existing, the causes may coexist with that. Not even temporally. It's like why the flower, diya means it's like the while the flame is there, can say that along with that there is oil, along with that there is oxygen. So conditioned, anything, any entity in the world is having a kind of conditioned existence, dependence. Observe the nature of things in the world. Everything is changing, everything is in a state of motion, everything is in every event is preceded by some causes. Any entity you take in the world, it is conditioned by n number of causes, positive and negative causes. What is the negative cause? The negative cause means absence. There is absence of wind. There is presence of oxygen. Just observing. इतना तो ठीक है ना? We observe the world like that. But the people who are extending a posteriori proof, or in other words, at times these, observe the world, the nature of things in the world. They are in state of motion. They are, any effect has got antecedent causes. Any entity in the world is having a conditioned or contingent. The term contingent means conditioned existence, dependent existence. This is the nature of world. They are known as cosmological. Cosmological means what? Cosmos, universe, empirical world. You are observing the cosmos, experiencing the cosmos. After experiencing a posteriori, after experience, a posteriori, you say that, there is an unmoved mover, there shall be a first cause, there shall be someone who exists beyond this contingent world. This is the nature of the proof. Certain proofs like teleological, they are also extension of this a posteriori. Teleological means observing the world, you say that, okay, everything is having conditioned existence, everything has got an antecedent cause, not okay. But we start asking why about many things. When we think about, the ozone layer, we say that, okay, ozone, it is formed in this fashion. Because of ozone, UV rays are not penetrating. Right after understanding, we say that, yeah, ये तो कमाल का phenomena. It's a really good phenomena because of which, human beings are being secured from the UV rays. Why ozone udari kyun? Ozone could have been on, some other place on the atmosphere. And when we think about the possibility of life on different parts of the universe, we'll say that there are certain, scientifically, when we study, there are some ambient conditions. Ambient conditions means we need water, we need this much temperature, atmosphere. You see, if the gravity of Earth, gravitational force of Earth, if it gets half of this, सोचो एटमॉस्फेयर थोड़ा तो ऊपर चला जाएगा. The phenomena like greenhouse effect will be a bit different. यही होगा ना, life won't survive. The more we learn, about the cosmos world, like there is a purpose for which everything is existing, some intelligent designer. That also begins, what is the point? A posteriori from experience. This is the reason why I say, many theists, many scientists, simultaneously they can be theists because they learn the world through experience and their reasoning capacity. Definitely, even though you are not a theist, suppose you are not a theist, when we study like this, we feel like, nature, the universe is so big, so giant. I can know only a drop of it. वो भी ठीक है. That intellectual humility will be there. But when you get emotional, emotional means sentimental, right? And there shall be a creator. From there only people go there, actually. Or suppose, you have the remnants. Suppose somebody has been brought up as a theist in childhood days. And कॉलेज जाने के बाद जो है पूरा एथिस्ट बन गया. And after taking PhD, became a, sorry, very good scientist. And when you grow old, right, different types of problem, right, different समस्या सामना करना पड़ेगा. So at that time, people think like, okay, something that I learned in my childhood days, in some other form, it will come out. And what will they do? Even if he's a scientist, he will say that I will link it with, the God. You can criticize, but you understand. A priori, we discussed yesterday, a posteriori, posterior to experience. After the experience, I am rooting everything in the fundamental word that we have been discussing since paper one. Observe nature of things in the world, changing every effect as an antecedent cause, contingent. And even you can say it seems like a grand design. You're observing the world and you are linking everything with God. First cause, unmoved mover, beyond the contingent scheme of existing, he is the grand designer. ना सोच सकते हो? This is the concept. This is the way we need to think. Just think. You think about criticisms of this proof. Okay. Yeah, they are all, valid thoughts. Everything is valid thought. It's an assumption. In paper one, Immanuel Kant, we had a we had a topic subtopic like critique of proofs for existence of God. Not critique of God, not critique of existence of God. Be clear, critique of proofs for existence of God. Why not critique of existence of God in Kant? Why I am specifying that? He's accepting God, na? He's accepting God for some utility. But proofs he is criticizing, just as you are mentioning. That's good. Categories of understanding. But there was one sentence which I told you then. The fundamental criticism leveled by Immanuel Kant against all the a posteriori proofs for existence of God. What was it? You already know the answer. Even if I say the answer, you will say that वो तो हमें पता था. अलग से बोलने का जरूरत नहीं है. It's like it seems like a kind of presumption only. No? You are observing the world. If everything as a see every event as a cause we are observing. We are neither perceiving God or anything something, but still we are linking. There shall be a necessary being. There shall be a first cause, or the world is a kind of grand design that will come. But there shall be a first cause. How did we say that? Even Buddhism was of opinion that the world is contingent. Na? Every entity in the world is having contingent existence. Nothing exists independently. Did they accept a creator God? Rather than, did I discuss about any creator God in Buddhism? No, ना तब तो not accepted बस. Whatever जो आपने सुना है वो सही है, right? That should be the mindset when you go to the prelims as well. वो whatever I am telling, there is a deeper meaning with this, because people ask how many attempts should I make, how many questions should I attempt, how should I choose? End of the day, what will happen? You trust your instincts only, na? You have studied paper one means you can very well trust your instincts. मतलब ये चीज तो सुना नहीं है creator God in Buddhism. It will be correct only. 3 months back तो ये नहीं बोलता मैं, but whatever you listen, right? You need to keep okay. Whatever you remember or something सुना नहीं है, तब तो नहीं होगा. तो नेक यू हैवंट स्टडीड एनीथिंग. अच्छा अच्छा टिप मिल गया. टिप्स तो बहुत मिलते हैं लाइक ओके जो मैंने सुना नहीं है, यू नो on the basis of that I solved the prelims question. वो नहीं, but after doing to a big limit, possible limit, this is the way you can trust yourself, right? जितना हो सकता था मैंने कर लिया. Will manage, बस that's a mindset, right? Okay. Did they accept God, creator God? No. Why can't we stop there? And even when you see, as you are mentioning the about evolution, different types of evolution, are the proponents of Big Bang theory accepting God, creator God? No, they understand the world in a mechanical way. See, they will say Big Bang is the first cause. Yes. Then they will say, I don't know. When there is I don't know, does it imply that there is something? Do you remember the term agnosticism? Agnostic. See, theism means one who accepts God. Atheist means one who rejects God. Agnostic means वो है कि I cannot prove, I don't know. I don't know means at least he is sure that through the epistemological methods he does not know. See, when you see the things in the world having contingent existence, there are possibilities. Neither you deny or you say that I don't know. I don't know is not a license to accept, something is existing. If you say that from that I don't know, you don't have any answer. As an answer to that, you are bringing in a God means it's a presumption rather than a proof. This is the reason why Immanuel Kant says like all the a posteriori arguments are in fact a priori in essence. Now you are feeling the words na a priori, prior to experience, you are accepting something, you are experiencing the world, and you are linking to it. That is its criticism. Getting the clarity, na? Buddhism, Samkhya, science, they are accepting the world. They are accepting, the kind of change in the world, condition, nature in the world, but they do not accept a creator God is accepted in traditional theism. See, in the life we see many number of small things. Small things like you see a pen, right? Who created it? Who is the manufacturer? You read a poetry. You ask like who designed it. Fine. By seeing small one or two things, part of they are all part of the world. Right? The hill forts of Rajasthan, they are part of the world. They are being created, designed by someone. Okay. But there are many phenomena in the world which occur as it is now. We are not seeing any kind of designer. They are occurring. So, uh, see, by taking some parts, three or four things which needs a designer, can you say that the world as a whole needs a first cause? No. Definitely, as you are saying, Hume, okay, ठीक Hume and Kant. Hume says that causality कोई necessity नहीं है 100%. And even Kant, you see, applying the categories of understanding. Causality, principles of causation, or the every effect as a cause, event as a cause. It cannot be applied for proving or nomina. It cannot be applied on the nomina. Do you remember? See, this was the reason why I say it's a prerequisite. A bit of knowledge in paper one, some amount of prerequisite. There is, a lot of common sensical discussion only, but in between, this adds color. This adds color to your answer. And while discussing Kant as well, to demonstrate the idea of transcendental illusion or antinomies, I gave you a thought experiment. It's like hypothetical debate between a theist and an atheist regarding the world, origin of the world. Atheist will say Big Bang, from Big Bang, everything has a cause. So theist may ask, then what is the cause of Big Bang? Will tell like, don't know. मुझे नहीं पता. Theist will say, I have an answer. God is the first cause. Right. मैं जीत गया in the debate. So atheist will tell like, okay, that's fine. You went a step ahead to identify a cause. What is the first cause of the world? First cause of the God. What is the cause of the God? Sorry, what is the cause of the God? What will theist say? No, it is self-caused. It can only be self-caused. It is the first cause. So atheist will say like, see, I was better. You unnecessarily went a step ahead. I stopped at a point, you stopped at the next point. That's all. So listening to the debate, we will feel like they were applying the principles of causality to prove or disprove the phenomena. Transcendental entity that is God. This is transcendental illusion or antinomy. Right? Categories of understanding are, they are limited. They are limited to phenomena. Cannot be extended to phenomena. That was remember, na? I was discussing that. The same example. The same example you cannot write, but serves the purpose of understanding. So he says that in exam you will be writing like principles of causation are applicable only to phenomena. Through this you are trying to uh, prove the nomina transcendental entity. It will result in antinomial transcendental illusion. Done. But you need to feel it, so that any new question can be asked. You can write in your own language in this thread. Your own language means simple language, NCRT language. यार एनसीईआरटी लैंग्वेज में लिखना बहुत मुश्किल है एक्चुअली. It's difficult to do things in a simplified manner. Even essay paper, that much of flowery language is not needed. See, language is meant for communicating. Simple language, okay, but the thought shall be clear. Hume criticizes, Kant criticizes. All a posteriori proofs are based on a priori proofs. That's it. When you accept God as the first cause, uncaused cause, or an independent being, does it not sound like a kind of escape from infinite regress? Infinite regress. Infinite regress means B is dependent on A is dependent on C is on D. We need to stop somewhere, no? In order to stop, that series, that chain of events, we are bringing in God. वो भी तो है ना? Some thinkers like Russell have extended this. It's like, this kind of proofs, not ontological, cosmological proof means definitely it's rooted in a priori. Accepting God cannot be a kind of, escape from the fallacy of infinite regress. If infinite regress exists in causality, let it remain. What is the issue with that? Buddhism, their fundamental premise was Paditya Samutpada. It's like everything is having contingent existence. So, kya hua? Nothing is happening, right? No issue with that. Why unnecessarily accept something which you can neither perceive nor infer? Why should we just postulate? Through traditional epistemological means, how can we say that there is a first cause? If you try to stop at a point, infinite regress, and just like Immanuel Kant was saying, you are applying categories of understanding. Okay, while you see, where there is a good creation, there shall be a creator. वो तो ठीक है. Where there is an intelligent design, we will have a tendency to ask who designed it. That's for sure, no problem with that. When you see a good electronic equipment, definitely there will be a designer. When you see a poetry, definitely there will be someone who wrote it. By seeing some things in the world, can you jump at a conclusion that the whole world needs a designer like that? See, partial चीज को उठा के, can you say that the whole world needs a designer? In the world, is the hill forts of Rajasthan same as the Himalayas or the Pacific Ocean? There is a mechanism. You are not seeing the perceiver, but you have the mechanism to explain that. Even in this world, you can see many phenomena, scientific phenomena, that are occurring without a human intervention. Always, why do you need a personal entity for different phenomena? You take some phenomena where there is an intelligent designer, there shall be an intelligent designer for the whole world. Part को लेके you are applying into the universe as a whole. Part तो ठीक है, human made things good. But there are many non-human made phenomena in the world. If we don't have any, complete answer for that, why should we accept a designer? Why can't we stop at a point? You see, ozone layer, how it is formed, that we can learn. Again, we can say because the ozone blanket is there, we can learn a lot about it. At some places, it is more thick. how it is getting depleted. Scientifically we learn it's because of our ignorance only. We are making refrigerator se jo aata hai, that is going to affect it. Okay, when we learn we stop it, again it's reinstated. Where did the god come here? This is how an atheist or the critic of this proof will argue. And even, Kant is asking, you say that it may seem like an intelligent design. Okay, no issue. But why one designer? If something is a grand design, means there can be many number of designers, no? Many number of designers. Many number of designers. Why is extending means it's against, the monotheistic thought. He can extend, no problem with that monotheistic thought. It's like he's asking, who told you that there can be? Logically means there shall be. You may feel no, it's a kind of teamwork. Single person can. That also is a thought. A single person could not have done this kind of design. Why we are obsessed with only one person who is omniscient, omnipotent, benevolent, who is designing this? Anything can be explained in mechanical sense as well, no? Even without accepting God. See, while studying these topics, suppose you are a theist, वो criticisms लिखना ही है. And in case you are an atheist, you need to, when you are arguing for God, means you should feel it. ठीक है ना? Never get, attached with. And when we study socio-political philosophy, maybe some people who have been active in politics or something in college may hate capitalism, may like some other thought. Yeah, we need to understand, we need to criticize. Understanding ऐसे करना है कि you follow that, you are a theist or you follow a particular economic ideology. When you criticize means going to the other side. Clear, na? These criticisms. Which is more sound, criticism or the proof? Sir, you tell like I did not understand the terms. अभी ठीक है ना? हाँ, बस conscious. Okay. Both are not convincing. That is antinomy. Arguing from both sides, but not arriving at a conclusion. The proof is convincing. Criticism. See, criticism, why it may sound convincing means, see, we have many alternatives. Regarding the origin of the world, you have the alternative of science, which we have accepted. We have the alternative of Buddhism, where they are saying that everything in the world is conditioned. And the question arises like, design, we have explanation, right? As humanity, if you see the history means many phenomena which we believe to be act of God, it has been replaced by science. So we are getting answers. That's the reason why criticism sounds convincing. Now you got no critic of existence of God, nahi. Critic of proofs for existence of God from Kant. So fundamentally, existence can never be a predicate. Never level that criticism in this kind of this cosmological or a posteriori proofs. That's specifically meant for a priori, ontological. Okay. Kant's fundamental criticism against a posteriori is they are rooted in a priori. It's kind of you are presuming something You are linking to that. And even, Immanuel Kant says, even though I criticize the proofs for existence of God, he says like something known as the teleological proof, purpose. Everything exists for a purpose. World is a kind of grand design by an intelligent agent, benevolent agent. That can trigger, that can trigger the devotion. In the context of devotion, when you listen to these kind of discourses, ozone has been created out of pure benevolence of God. Or if you think like, the life on this earth is a kind of accident. If any of these conditions, temperature, pressure, or something is going to change, the life won't thrive here. So a person who is in an emotional state or some kind of setbacks in life or having in the context of devotion, that will get boosted. Nothing wrong with that. Only from an epistemological perspective, Kant is setting the limits of knowledge, right? The limits of reason. That is limited to limits of your reason, limited to the phenomena only. Okay, just think what we discussed. Okay, so you see, when we shift from pure metaphysical and epistemological argument in paper one, the problem of universal problem of knowledge, to theology, means philosophy of religion means some elements from theology, religious discussions is being taken. आसान लगेगा. You don't have to apply much. But in delivery means there shall be some beauty as a reader. हाँ हाँ, revelation और वो तो आएगा. See, agnosticism, I simply used to ask in tests earlier. Specifically, it's not in the topic. It's like we cannot prove. Epistemologically, we can neither prove nor disprove. That's the question. It's not ठीक है ना? Whatever we discuss. Nothing like paper one. Relatable, more relatable. You can deliver, right? The points have been classified in the deliverable form only in the notes. As I told, but understand this is the route. This is the way we need to think and then apply according to the question. देखो अभी एक सवाल बना देते हैं मीन्स एग्नोस्टिसिज्म. आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू डिफाइन इट. Should agnosticism necessarily culminate in atheism? Or I can create a question like, is agnosticism more close to theism or atheism? Or critically examine the position of agnosticism in the theological framework. देखा ना, मतलब n number of questions I can create by taking something. But just think about that position. Agnosticism, the is it necessarily atheism? Can it be equated to atheism? क्या बोलोगे? Quickly. We'll argue from two sides. Why atheism? Why not atheism? What do you logically feel? Just I'm telling you, formatting answer means you are following your own thoughts, your own instincts. You just felt the word. इतना तो पता है कि it cannot be proved. That is the position, right? It cannot be proved. Okay, it cannot be proved. Atheism means it cannot be proved. Their implication is I won't accept it. I will deny it. I will explain it through mechanism. Right? That's your thought, first thought. After some time, what will happen is rather than trusting your thought and addressing the question, we will go behind. We will think like book में अपना material में क्या लिखा था about something. That will come, whatever you have studied, that will be in your mind. You are going to own something. You are going to own your answer. ये तो मैं बोल रहा था earlier means it's like even when you go to films and all, see, just leave it to the moment. Naturally you will have that instinct. If you have done well means that will naturally come. So simply addressing the question means as a checker I am reading for. This person is saying agnosticism, okay, defined in simple terms, it cannot be. In atheism means he is rejecting everything. Agnostic is not rejecting. And I am thinking like Immanuel Kant told like it can neither be, you cannot prove the existence of God, but it's accepted as a matter of faith. And suddenly something is popping into my mind like theistic existentialism of Kierkegaard. God is not an objective reality, it is accepted through leap of faith. Not necessarily agnostic need to be an atheist. He can accept the limit of reason, accept God as a matter of faith. Now you are the checker. You tell whether I have addressed the question or not. Yes ही तो बोलना है, no नहीं बोलना है, ठीक है ना? Address the question. So it's like this is the way it goes, right? We feel a word and the natural thoughts will go like that. We have to enrich. So this is a demand. Or if you ask like, where is agnosticism more close to atheism or theism? Again, the same idea. We begin, okay, theist accepts this, agnostic means this, so उसी तरफ जाएगा. Even the proofs for existence of God, as I told you, critically examine the possibility of most perfect devil. Don't go to the book while thinking. Just think the basics. When you write down, it will come. It will come means point maximization कब होगा? When you write, learn to address. When you revisit, आपको लगेगा कि I should have used integrated this thinker, not written, integrated this thinker, integrated this idea into my framework. Getting addressing a question means you are how to address a question, write an answer, understand the question, freely write. When you freely write, you will miss out something. When you revisit how to integrate these points into your free thought. Oh, you know, structuring means if there is structure in your thought, there will be structure in the answer. Okay, that's it. In Indian philosophy, Nyaya, Nyaya accepts God. Nyaya accepts God for many reasons, which are very much overlapping with what we have discussed till now. Nyaya and Yoga, they accept. Vedanta also accepts. Vedanta means mostly it's accepted as a matter of faith. Okay, before coming to Nyaya, Immanuel Kant is accepting God, no? Do you remember? He was accepting. He was accepting God as a psychological booster for morality. He is criticizing the proofs for existence of God, but he is accepting God as a matter of faith. There is a renowned quote of Kant that is, I had to limit reason to give room for faith. Reason or pure reason, they are the categories of understanding. They are meant to know the phenomena. We can know the phenomena, there is no doubt. The whole of phenomena. If you are asking Kant, can I know the whole universe? One day or the other, humanity, keeps learning, and if it is phenomena, we can learn. We have the categories of understanding to learn it. There is nothing wrong with that. At this moment, you might not be knowing it. Tomorrow, there is possibility to know the phenomena, not the nomina. Never you can know the nomina. So, but he is accepting God for the reason means purely moral reason. Suppose you were there in the existentialism class, right? Suppose I am saying because many of you might not have reached there, but still, while I was discussing Kierkegaard, theistic existentialism, there we had the leap of faith. Here, when we are um, thinking about the rights and wrongs, so when you think on the basis of reason about rights and wrongs, when you are thinking about the real purpose of life, can we arrive at an objective answer actually? See, there are many debates. Even rights and wrongs means you can say, people will contest. That's a different debate. Relativism versus absolutism in morality. It's another thing. But still, I told you anything. People may end up justifying anything, any so-called wrong activity. Right? Mahatma Gandhi once commented, like when you apply reason to morality, you know, reason to moral debates, even use of drugs, alcohol, and he makes use of the term adultery, anything gets justified. I translated it into a contemporary example as well. वो दोबारा नहीं बोलूंगा, that you will be remembering that. होता है ना when people when people break up, बहुत तरह का argument दे देते हैं logically. When one is having more than one relation, another one was not. So बोले कि human beings are not inherently designed to have one relation. वो society ने बनाया. You can also be like that. है ना उस तरह का होता है. Any kind of justification will be there. And they may cite evolution, cite sapiens, different kind of species उसी तरह का. वो contemporary है. उस जमाने में था नहीं. So it's the new version of that what Gandhiji was saying. Anyhow, I'm not going into that. So anything can be justified. जो गलती किया है वो जस्टिफाई करेगा. And when this person is in the other position, yeah, it's not right. That's that's the law of karma, Newton law of karma. So you see, or Gen Z law of karma. So in this one, uh, see, when we think a lot about purpose of life or morality, what we need a kind of booster, psychological booster. Why should I be moral? Why should I be moral? In fact, we won't have any one-word answer for that. Again, there is a topic number 8 is there. Sorry, 8 is there, religion and morality. We'll discuss it further. But, human beings have got a tendency to ask what is right, what is wrong, how should I act? There is a term, secular morality. We will see there, secular morality is subjected to be scrutinized. Even the sophists who came before Plato and Socrates, they denied morality as such. They denied the virtue ethics, or certain things are always eternal. They denied it. So anyhow, Kantian ethics means it was deontological. Deontological. Deontological means it's means-based ethics. Means-based means, there are two approaches in ethics. One is means-based, not two, three approach, anyhow two, means-based and ends-based ethics. It's like simply when you are being asked like whether telling truth is ethical or not, speaking the truth is ethical or not, or speaking lie, telling lie, whether it is. If you say like sometimes lying can be justified, sometimes killing can be justified, your justification will be like you can kill a person for saving the life of 100, or you can make use of violence for during the time of freedom struggle, or you can lie to save the life of a person. Means our focus is on the rightness of an action lies in the outcome. Why lie kill something is right? Because कुछ आउटकम के बारे में चर्चा है, आउटकम और एंड्स बेस्ड देयर इज एन अप्रोच in between, right? In religion and morality, I can bit of it I will discuss. They are not going to ask you that here in this paper, but Kant means. Kant, Mahatma Gandhi, they all have that kind of approach. It's like you see why should I speak the truth? See, you are supposed because it is the right, so you have to follow it. That's all. Not based on outcome. तो करना है. No human shall be treated as a means for meeting others' ends. Why? It's that like that. Human beings have got intrinsic worth. That's an ethics. उसका कोई justification नहीं. Suppose you save the life of a person, 100 people by killing one. Justified from ends-based ethics. Means-based में कि okay, you saved the life of 100 people. That's good. Thinking about your intent is really good, but killing is inherently wrong. That will be their position. Right? That's deontological ethics. Means Kant believed in intrinsic rightness of many actions. No, just like Gandhiji, non-violence, truth and all. इतना समझ लो. He believed that kind of ethics. People need to follow it. Why should people follow it? Everyone will ask, any ordinary individual will ask the question like, why should I be dutiful? Why should I be moral? People who are not following these rules, they are doing good in their lives. Then why should I follow? Is there any guarantee that one day or the other, while doing the so-called good deeds, I will get the good fruits? These are the natural questions. So Kant actually limits the reason and give room for faith and tell that suppose you believe, you know, you do good deeds, one day or the other, you will get the fruits for it. And who is to decide who is doing good, who is doing bad? and who is going to deliver justice. You accept God as a psychological booster who ensures that good deeds are given with good fruits and bad with bad fruits. So don't ask for the proof. Don't ask for any kind of epistemological proofs. You limit reason and give room for faith. Many a times, even this position very much similar to that of Kierkegaard only. He took the leap of faith. Took the leap of faith. See, it's like even though I don't logically feel like this world is a kind of grand design, if I visualize the world as a kind of grand design in which good deeds will be given with good fruits, life will be more beautiful. You remember Pascal's wager in between. I was discussing Pascal's wager means bet, safe bet. When you are standing in the agnostic zone, where you cannot epistemologically prove the existence of God, and when you see different people accepting God, you are thinking about its utility and think like, yeah, in case a benevolent omniscient entity is there, I shouldn't miss out anything, right? Pascal's wager means it's a kind of, escape from, the fear of missing out. In case God is there, I should not miss out the positives. There is nothing wrong if I am not accepting it. But if God is there, I don't know whether it is there or not. If God is there, right? When two travelers are climbing up the mountain for reaching a destiny, to reaching the top, one of them has faith that there is God. Another one means, TK, I need the reach the destiny. Irrespective of what they see in the end, think about their journey. Theistic journey means perhaps it can be, I'm not saying it will be, it can be more purposeful. Rather than epistemologically proving it, if it is accepted as a matter of faith, right? We try to use the positive of everything. बोलता है ना, take the positive of everything. It's somewhat like in, religion. Religion has positives and negatives. If somebody is able to make use of the positive aspects, matlab faith, if it's not getting culminated in superstition, faith, if a person is using to, having more courage in life, more success in life, or more values, positive vibes in life, or even mystical experiences. Kyun? Rather than going behind the reason, why can't we accept it as a matter of faith? So here means strictly moral, not even mystical moral. God is accepted. Even in Indian philosophy, we can see now God is accepted as the purifier of chitta. Right? Getting na? So Kant limits reason, pure reason, to give room for faith. Again, I will revisit this. This is how he is accepting God. Can it be treated as a proof of God? Proof me. See, Kant will never say that it is a proof. He himself says that we cannot prove, but he is not denying. Here means God or this entity, accepting a transcendental entity as a kind of positive thing, as a kind of positive entity. And he says, follow those moral actions as the commandments of God. We will see that religion and morality, this topic again. This was the way through which Kant was accepting God. Okay, just think. I will be back. Uh, we say that we cannot know nomina based on our present knowledge. That's fine. But clearly, if you understand the Kantian position, there is no possibility in knowing it in the future as well. This is how we formulate this thought. Nomina means at times we say many things are not known now. Whatever things you are going to know in the future, which is not known now, Kant will say that that is phenomena only. Just like a scientist, if you are asking a scientist, will say there are many things yet to be known. So what about the transcendental entity? Perhaps he'll say that no, it cannot be known. There is nothing like that if he is an atheist. Or if he is like Kant, he will say like I will accept it as a matter of faith. At least it is, it do not come under the categories of understanding. That is the position. Yeah, Shunyavada, it is also like that. Transcendental entity, but there is no creator God. Here means philosophy of religion largely, majority, except for the theories of liberation, the proofs for existence of God, problem of evil. They are in fact a challenge to, the notion of God in Abrahamic faiths, largely where the God of worship is accepted, largely theistic. Now, Vedanta is not proving. Yeah, instead of the. So you understand the methodology through which some is accepted, some entity is accepted, or the ground through which some is accepted, not through any epistemological ground. Getting na? Kant means not epistemological. Yeah, agnosticism is like skepticism in the context of theology. That's it. That's it. Means you cannot prove nor disprove. Skepticism generally is a term used in a kind of unknowability or, we cannot arrive at certain knowledge used in epistemological context. When you are applying this thing to whether you can know God or not, that turns out to be agnosticism. That's it, right? But here you won't get questions in epistemology. The term skepticism, it can be asked in Jainism, it can be asked in Hume. Mostly that's the case. Here, only one time agnosticism was asked, but we were expecting earlier अपना टेस्ट में मैंने डाला था 2 years, but it came later in 23 or 24, I don't remember. वो डाटा तो रहता है पुराना टेस्ट का, people can make use. Clear na? Now we have to discuss a bit of Nyaya in the next class. This much is okay na? Whatever we discussed on notions of God, deism, proofs for existence. Now when we reach topics like reason, revelation and faith, there you will see lot of people like Kant and Kierkegaard who accept God not through reason, but as a matter of faith. It's done. The mode of thought is done. They are known as voluntarists. Pascal is generally classified under this. Even Kierkegaard, if you have seen, existentialism very well relate with that. Right? At times ये होता है ना, when we think we don't have any purpose in life, absurdity. Some people take the leap of faith and start, believing that everything is, leela of God. Only we need outcome ना. मैं तो outcome ही तो चाहिए. You think whether it is leela, whether it is mechanism, teleology. If you are doing well in life means good. So people make use of it. Okay. See you. See you on Wednesday. Yeah, that's it. Despair.